Hello, Unity Church of the Hills family. My name is Tom Horn. I'm a member of Celebration, and I've been asked to tell you what I've been up to since COVID. Well, a lot has gone on since COVID. Number one, can you see I have hair? And I actually do have hair. The guys at Celebration, they say that I need to have a Murph, what is it? The Papa Smurf hat. That's what it is. Anyway, since COVID, I became a great uncle. My mortgage business has been really, really good. People have been able to stay home and they get on their computers and look at their mortgage. So we've been extremely busy, and I've been extremely blessed during this whole time of COVID. It has been kind of weird that I haven't been able to see family, go on vacation. I'm not even playing in my band right now. My band went out and played, but I didn't feel comfortable going and playing and being around a big crowd. But I'm grateful that I have the music. I'm grateful for Susan that I can come sing it at church still, and we distance at church. So I'm really grateful for that. Also during this time, I built a new house. I've moved from another house. Linda and I moved into our new house. We just got our swimming pool done, so I'm grateful for that. We finally had a break in the hot weather. I am so over hot weather. I'm sure. I sold my business, my business building, and I'm going to be building a new building here in December. I want to remind you guys to really support our church community through your tithing. If you have any questions about what tithing does in your life, I'm the guy to talk to, because I know that my prosperity has come from tithing, and I've been a tither for a long, long time. Anyway, I'm very happy to be here, and I'm going to have a new song next Sunday. So I want you to tune in and hear that. It's a beautiful song. I've been working on it for a month, but it's going to be really nice next week. Anyway, I love you all, and hope to see you all in person soon.
We let the love wash over us. We let it be. Many pray along the way. They don't stop to wonder what the world is coming to. They let something higher reveal the way to greater love. Oh yeah. So the truth is telling me, sing of liberation for the ones who are not free. Love can take us higher, reveal the way to greater love. Oh yeah. So we let it wash over us. We let it make us kinder. We let it lift us higher. We let it be. We let it early in the morning. We let it hold us together. We let it wash over us. We let it be. Still some cry along the way, walking through the sadness for a world that needs to know love can take us higher, reveal the way Love's the only answer, and to all humanity, we can stay inspired. Reveal the way to greater love. Oh yeah. So we let it wash over us. We let it make us kinder. We let it lift us higher. We let it be. We let early in the morning. We let hold us together. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the joy. We let the joy. We let the joy wash over us. We let it be. We let it be. We let it be. We let the love. We let the love wash over us. We let it be.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Unity Church of the Hills. Thank you so much, Celebration. Matt, Brian, Tom, John, Susan. Thank y'all so much for getting us started off this morning. Welcome to Unity Church of the Hills' Sunday morning main service, where you're joining us probably on Facebook Live or YouTube or at our website, unityhills.org. Take a moment, check in, let us know you were there, like it, share it, leave us a comment, and let us know where you're sharing this experience with us, where you are today. We are ever so grateful for all of you who are watching today and who keep our spiritual community vital. And speaking of keeping our spiritual community vital, we want to say good morning, special good morning to our prayer chaplains. We want to take a moment and give thanks for each and every one of our prayer chaplains who are holding spiritual space for each one of us in our community today. And if you are in need of one-on-one prayer and you'd like to receive one-on-one prayer following today's service, please call 512-814-5365. And you can leave a message with your name, phone number, and a simple prayer request, and one of our chaplains will call you back today and pray in that with you. We also want to acknowledge our youth and our family and send them a special blessing. Just so that you all know, our children and youth, angels and teachers continue to meet in virtual formats like the Facebook groups and Zoom. So we still got that Sunday school aspect going on. And we take a moment to focus our hearts on all of them as we behold the Christ that is living, breathing, and having its movement in each and every one of their precious, precious souls. Here at Unity, we like to remind ourselves and affirm for ourselves our mission statement here. So the mission statement will appear on your screen in just a moment, and I invite you to speak it out loud wherever you are and speak it with me. Let's do it together. We put God first, celebrate life, serve truth, and empower people to transform their lives. And that is our mission. That is our work here at Unity Church of the Hills, and we are willing servants in moving that ball forward. If you are joining us for the first time here this morning, we welcome you. Unity is a positive path for spiritual living and practical application of spiritual principles that honor all paths to God. Wherever you are on your spiritual path, we will meet you there. We thank you once again for joining us. If you'd like to know more about us after today's service, you can just simply type in the word connect in the comment section, and one of our ambassadors will reach out to you and get you the information that you would like. And once again, we just want to thank each and every one of you for joining us here this morning. And with that, I want to invite you to turn our attention to our prayerful consciousness as we open this morning in prayer. Living, loving Spirit, Mother, Father, God, thank you. Thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you for this sacred sanctuary where we are broadcasting to you from. Thank you for the technology that allows us to continue to connect with you during these challenging times. And thanks to each and every one of our crew here in the building here that's helping make this possible. Special thanks and gratitude to our guest speaker this morning, Dr. Roger Teal, who will be speaking to us this morning on the spark that never goes out, that indwelling light within that lights our way and illuminates our path for eternity, not only in this experience, but in all of our experiences beyond this physical experience. And we know that there is a divine order that is being illuminated by God's light, God's power, and God's presence. And we willingly and gladly move ourselves onto that path, and we attune our attention and the activity of our consciousness to hear the spiritual truth that will best serve our personal unfolding as we each one of us seek to express the Christ in our own lives and move forward into the world, being the Christ exactly where we're planted, serving in exactly the way that Spirit allows us to and encourages us to. We know that we are always supported on our path towards love and towards peace. And for this and so much more, we are ever, ever so grateful. And so we say thank you, living, loving Spirit. And we pray in the name and the nature of Jesus the Christ. And so it is. And so we allow it to be. Amen.
This week's Sharing is Caring benefits AmeriCares Foundation, and funds will be directed towards relief efforts from Hurricane Laura. For every share of the message while we are live, we'll donate $5 to this organization. Please take a moment and share today's message. Among other acts of service, our September Volunteer of the Month leads our Rainbow Ministry with his husband, Tony Barnes. Murray has prepared a short video for us.
Murray Michener is our Volunteer of the Month for September. Murray, tell us a little bit about your volunteer history.
So I've been volunteering for probably between 4 years. I volunteered with the weekend coordinator, Saturday, Sunday. I help with the Friday night coordinator, a few Thursday night coordinator. I volunteer with hospitality, and then I am also helping with Rainbow Ministry. That it gives me a good opportunity.
And what initially got you into volunteering?
I actually was asked by Bonnie and Vicki Gale to help take over when they stepped away from Rainbow Fellowship. And so then Tony and I took over, which Tony is my other half, and that started me to get more involved. They were talking about they needed a weekend coordinator, so I stepped up to that, and then with been asked to help with hospitality, and then it just, as it evolves, you get involved, you just want to do more. I've helped Audrey with certain events on the weekend that she needed help with, and so it gives you an opportunity to meet people.
Can you tell me a little bit about what it is you enjoy?
The part I enjoy is you're actually doing something with your community. You're helping people to celebrate life.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I do have, but it gives you opportunity. I do have a little thing I wrote, and it makes a big difference in your church community. Have fun, meet great people, and volunteer with your friends. It doesn't have to be done by yourself.
If you've been hungering to meet in person and see your beloved fellow UCOH congregants, you'll be happy to know that we are scheduling small groups of up to 10 people to meet outdoors on campus. Contact Audrey Simpson to reserve your spot and to learn about the safety protocols involved. Another way to experience the campus grounds is through our rock painting project. Come sit out on the patio, express your creativity with rocks that are ready to roll, and help us beautify the garden. Rock painters enjoy a 10% discount at the bookstore. We think this next part is pretty sentimental. Finished rocks, complete with clever personas, will be available for adoption on a love offering basis. Just another way to support our UCOH community garden. We Wisdom is reopening Tuesday, September 8th, and there are still a few openings for new students. Please contact Director Carrie Monk to learn more. At 1 p.m. today, join our chaplains on Zoom for a virtual gratitude circle. Your presence will be the icing on our gratitude cake as we join together in speaking our blessings out loud. Find the Zoom link on our website, on the Facebook events page, and in our app. Real-time parenting has moved to Sunday evenings, the first and third Sundays at 8:30 p.m. This enables parents of younger children to focus on the conversation at hand after they've put their kiddos to bed. The Zoom link will continue to be made available in the YFM News and in the private Facebook groups. And the first evening session is tonight at 8:30 p.m. Now, as we looked to the offerings for this fall that include such monumental milestones as our 25th anniversary and the search for our divinely ordained new minister, a theme began to emerge. And as we sat with Spirit, what we heard very loudly was answering the call. Laura Zulke, Vice President of our Board of Trustees, spoke to this calling in a brief video that is available both on our Facebook page and on YouTube. And I would encourage you, if you haven't listened to it, to take a moment, because together we are listening to Spirit and answering the call. And one of those ways that we can answer that call is with our 27th Annual World Day of Prayer, where we answer the call for prayer that shifts us from fear to faith. Beginning today, you're invited to come by the campus to take part in our Releasing Your Fear ritual, which is set up just outside the chapel doors. The station will remain up through 7 p.m. on Thursday night when our World Day of Prayer culminates with a special live stream service that will be shared on Facebook, YouTube, and our website. The 23 hours leading up to our special service begins at 7 p.m. on September 9th with a watch party on Facebook as we tune in together to Unity Worldwide Ministries' upcoming opening ceremony. The prayer consciousness of this sacred time continues to build every hour on the hour with prayers that will be shared on Facebook. And however you choose to participate in World Day of Prayer, please know that our hearts join yours. Together we move from fear to faith. Now, if you're feeling a call for greater connection, you're invited to answer that call by joining one of our mini Spirit Circles, which begin meeting next week for a special fall series on the topic, Community and Belonging. Find a circle to join by visiting our website, unityhills.org. At the beginning of his message, Dr. Teal will speak about his upcoming webinar, Bridges to Breakthrough, which is a gift to UCOH. Collectively, we can answer the call to heal as we pivot into our next 25 years, poised to do magnificent work in the world. This webinar takes place on Sunday, September 13th from 2 to 4:30 p.m. and is offered on a love offering basis. You can learn more and register at unityhills.org. And now, I would invite you to settle in. Quiet your mind, set aside distractions as we move together into a space of meditation. And as you gently close your outer eyes, allow a field of love intelligence to prepare your heart for a great opening. Bring your breath there to your heart, and like a tuning fork, strike a chord of peace, and allow your breath to carry you deeper and deeper into this great opening. Breathing in and letting go. Breathing in and allowing. Feel the expansion of divine love that has no limits, no borders, and no conditions. Breathe in peace. Radiate out love. And let this love pour forth from you as you breathe and allow in the silence. Radiate out love. And allow that spark of divinity within you to grow brighter and brighter. And stay grounded in this space of peace as you move through your day. When you are ready, open your beautiful, radiant eyes.
When your light touches my light, that's enough light to take away the darkness of the world. Spirit, light inside us means you and I are strong enough to make a difference in the world. Together, you and I are bright enough to illuminate the world. When your light touches my light, that's enough light to take away the darkness of the world. Spirit, light inside us means you and I are strong enough to make a difference in the world. Together, you and I are bright enough to illuminate the world. Let it shine, shine like a beacon. Let it shine like 1,000 burning suns. Let it shine, shine. You and I are strong enough to make a difference in the world. Together, you and I are bright enough to illuminate the world. Let it shine, shine like a beacon. Let it shine like 1,000 burning suns. Let it shine, shine. You and I are strong enough to make a difference in the world. Together, you and I are bright enough to illuminate the world. Shine, let it shine.
Well, happy Sunday morning to my wonderful Unity Church of the Hills spiritual family. I'm Dr. Roger Teal, and I have the honor of presenting today's message. And I am indeed honored. I have such a strong place in my heart for the wonderful Unity of the Church Hills ministry. And we've got big things and wonderful new things ahead. And I'm excited to be a part of that as I work with your board. I want to say something else before I dive into the message. Next Sunday afternoon, I'll be back with you for a webinar, which is my gift to this ministry, although the ministry will receive a love offering, and it's always good to receive, but you'll be giving back to your ministry. My gift is a workshop, a 2.5-hour webinar workshop called Bridges to Breakthroughs. Now, this is a workshop that will take us through the steps of letting go of the past and bridging into our ideal future, our greater yet to be. And this will have personal relevance to so many of us as we really sense that we've got to let go of elements of what was and start to embrace what can be. It'll also relate to Unity Church of the Hills as a wonderful spiritual community to make sure as we prepare for a bright and powerful future that we've assessed what remains from the past and that we're building a bridge, releasing that, honoring it and releasing it and embracing the changes so that we can re-enter the game and recreate together, cast a new and powerful vision. So it'll be both relevant to the community as a whole, but you'll get personal benefit from this, I'm quite sure, because none of us is immune from changes and from the difficulties, even the heartaches that come with them. So I trust that you will utilize the link that the wonderful staff will provide you and sign up and maybe tell a friend or two. It might be their introduction to Unity Church of the Hills. And certainly it could be a big blessing to them as they navigate these uncertain waters right now. So next Sunday at 2 o'clock, 2 to 4:30. We'll have some breaks through it all, so you're not going to be plastered in front of a screen just sitting there for 2.5 hours. We'll take some breaks, but it'll be interactive and you'll have an opportunity to make some input to your board of trustees and also do some work within yourself that I think you'll find enormously valuable. I look forward to it. Next Sunday, 2 to 4 p.m. Log on and let's do some work together. All right, my topic today is the spark that never goes out. The spark that never goes out. You know, there's some pretty intense debates that have raged over the years between social scientists and anthropologists about which discovery in the history of humanity contributed the most to our survival as a species and our ascent. And there are a lot of different opinions. Some say it was the wheel, and because that allowed us to move into the era of transportation and moving heavy objects. Some say it was the printing press, because that allowed for the distribution to the common person of information. I'm a banjo player. I think the banjo ought to be considered as one of the great keys to our success. Just kidding, just kidding. But you know, most agree that one discovery surpasses them all. It was the discovery that a spark could be kindled into a fire. And with the energy of fire, there could be warmth and light and protection and cooking and more. But discovering this, how epic it was in our culture and in our species, that was one thing. But the challenge was to keep the spark lit or the fire would be lost. You know, right now it's no secret that we as a species face intense challenges, especially in our country as well. We face challenges personally and collectively. Of course, we're in our 6th month or more of this global pandemic, and we're having to ride that out. There are economic uncertainties, environmental challenges that are coming up more and more. So many personal losses and setbacks. And if you've had some of those, my heart is with you, and lean into the Unity teachings because it can support you right where you're living there. And then there's also renewed expressions or experiences of racism and the call for profound change. So many intense challenges. And some worry that the fire of our passion and our caring and our creativity has gone out. But I say, we need a new spark to ignite new energy, not just to save us, but to renew us, to lift us up, and more than anything, to evolve us as people and as a species. I had a wonderful special friend for many, many years, and I worked with her in an organization I helped found and in many other projects. Her name, Barbara Marks Hubbard. About a year ago, she passed away, and I miss her. Probably one of the greatest futurists of our day, a social scientist, deeply powerful spiritual light. And she put out a landmark book called Conscious Evolution. And in this, she clarifies something I think it's important for us to know. First of all, that crisis and chaos precede transformation. And that whenever nature reaches a limitation, it doesn't just adapt, it innovates and transforms. And so understanding this about crisis and chaos and that it's a transformational process is so important. In fact, Barbara goes on to declare that our problems are evolutionary drivers. And as such, they are essential to significant advancement and to breakthroughs. Now that helps me at this time. It helps me realize that in the midst of so many evolutionary drivers in this day and time, that what this means is that we're preparing for a massive birthing and a transformation. And we can take heart in that and not get pulled down into discouragement or pessimism, but begin to sense what is the breakthrough that's seeking to emerge here? What is the transformation at work in our culture, in our world, and in me? Now, as I look at my own life, looking back, I see that there have been plenty of times in my life when I was confused, challenged, down on myself, times I was heartbroken. March of 2019, a little over a year and a half ago, I retired after 43 years in the traditional pulpit ministry, in being a minister, senior minister, 25 years senior minister at Mile High Church. And yet I was spirit-led in this. Something said, there's a new chapter for you, and you need to have the courage to let go of that wonderful journey, a beautiful journey. I grew so much and experienced so much, and yet, have you ever been asked to let go of something that you prized? And so I did that, and I went through a really challenging first year of retirement. I call it rewirement, because I'm an ordained minister, and that's a lifetime thing. So it was about leaping into the unknown about how I could still serve. But I had to let go for a year. I had to decompress. I had to grieve. Some of the things I'll be talking about next Sunday in Bridges to Breakthrough, I had to do in that time. And so at the level of my humanness, I grieved, I got down, I enjoyed some quiet time and some greater relaxation, but it was very difficult, very difficult. But now I see that change and all of the other difficulties and changes of my life were indeed calls to evolve, to discover and express something deeper, richer, more timely in me. And I've come through that tunnel now. And now that it's been a year and a half, I've launched Roger Teal Ministries through my website, rogerteal.com, and lots of webinars and programs and small group work and individual work. And I feel new energy in life because I want to take these new thought teachings out to the wider universe out there. And so evolutionary drivers, sometimes they feel difficult when we're in the initial phases, and yet they're giving us something. Here's the key. Now listen up. Here's the key. No matter what we face, ever, there is a spark of divinity in you and me. And that is the spark that never, never goes out. This spark of divinity in you and in me, it is a resource, an unlimited resource of love, of creativity, renewal. It is the greatness and the healing energy in you and me. Ernest Holmes wrote, "The spark which burns at the center of our own soul is caught from the living and eternal flame of the Spirit. There is a light at the center of everyone. This light is never obliterated, but it does seem that it is often obscured for various reasons." A spark at the center of your being. Jesus said, don't hide your light under a bushel. Take the bushel off. Let it be seen so that others can know. And he said, you are the light of the world. Let your light shine. And elsewhere in the Bible, it says, the spirit of man is the candle of the Lord. The spirit in you is the candle of the Lord. And today I want you to know something. No matter how difficult it's been, you can fan this spark of divinity in you into a great flame to light your way and to awaken the higher potential within you. So what is your call to evolve? You see, sometimes we just try to put Band-Aids on the painful areas of our lives. But what are you called? How are you called to evolve? And what are you called to become? What is seeking a greater becoming within you? Seeking to emerge. This day, take heart and make a commitment that you're going to fan this spark of divinity, not just get stuck in the little fear-based ego self that's steeped in separation and negation. But you're going to fan the spark of the true self, the Christ nature, the Buddha nature within you, into a flame that warms you, encourages you, empowers you, and shines a light upon your pathway, and maybe even radiates some light into others' lives. So with that said, I'd like to offer you 4 keys to fanning this flame, this spark into a flame. All right? 4 keys. The first key, let go of why. All the why questions, things come up in our lives, and we're like the pestering little kids. Maybe you've had little kids, and they were incessantly asking, why is this? Why? Well, we do that even in this time in our life. Something comes along that rattles our cages, a pandemic or whatever the case may be, and we get stuck in why. It's so common. Why is this happening? Why is this happening to us? Why is it happening to me? Why now? Why? Let me tell you about that kind of place. It's a stuck place. It becomes a quicksand that we usually just sink in because it fixates us on the problem and doesn't unlock our greater potential. Here's the key. Even if we could get answers to that question, why, we wouldn't be ready for them. And even if we knew why, that wouldn't necessarily solve everything in our life. You know, the part of us that insists on knowing might get some comfort, but it doesn't solve anything. We still have to grow. We still have to lean into what's going on and bring forth something more. An author tells of a time when she emerged from 6 months of despair following the death of her second granddaughter. She had prayed for this little girl's healing, but sadly enough, in spite of her prayers, the baby passed away. And this plunged her into a deep spiritual black hole, Great Depression. Well, after a significant time of this depression and soul searching, this author says that she experienced the spark. She rediscovered the spark. And she shares her insights. She said, when life hands us up situations we cannot understand, we have one of two choices. We can wallow in misery, feeling separated from God, or we can declare, God, I need to feel your presence more than I need understanding. I choose God, and I trust that I'll know what I need to know when I need to know it. And for her, that spark transformed her. It became a flame. And she went on to recover her life and even find even greater meaning for herself. And really what it shows us is we may not always get our answers, especially to that why question, but we can always have a God experience. And a God experience makes us larger and it taps greater potential within us. So if you are ready to discover that spark that never goes out, I invite you to let go of all the why questions and simply get a sense of the greater truth that is within you. Let go of why. Secondly, shed an old skin. Shed an old skin. You see, times of great difficulty usually call us into profound newness. And we usually have to let go of some stuff. Joseph Campbell wrote, we must be willing to get rid of the life we've planned so as to have the life that is waiting for us. The old skin has to be shed before the new one can come. So we have to ask that question. Personally, we have to ask, what am I being called to become? Life is always calling you and me to become more. There's an impulsion, a ceaseless urge to reveal more of the God seed, of the limitless potential sown into the very fabric of our being. And so we're called to grow, and especially to grow beyond that little ego self that judges and is afraid and distances and pushes away and hides out. To become what Deepak Chopra calls the meta-human, the spiritually awakened human. Again, my friend Barbara Marx Hubbard, she says that we have to have a fundamental shift in identity for our greater emergence. And this is a shift from the egoic, self-conscious personality self, she says, which she calls the local self, to the universal, non-egoic, co-creative, or divine self, the Christ self, the essential self. And so this shift in identity takes us from the creature human who lives as a self-conscious, survival-oriented person to the co-creative human who cooperates with the divine flow within, who is inspired by spirit to express and embody divine intent. So we're called to shed an old skin and to let our challenges actually evolve us. And to ask, how can this refine me, evolve me, guide me, teach me? And we have to do that collectively right now as well. Life is calling for us to grow beyond religious bigotry, and there's so much of that out there, the exclusivism of religion that makes others wrong. Racial bigotry, it's high time. It's high time. It's not about making anybody wrong. It's about how can we grow such that these kinds of situations are obsolete. We've grown so much beyond them. So again, I ask, what old skin needs to be shed so that spirit can transform your consciousness and renew your inner experience of life? What is it high time to let go of? You may have been leaning on it like a crutch, but if you're going to get up and run, you can't drag that crutch along, you know? Have the courage to see whatever this is, to know it and release it. Nelson Mandela, who was president of South Africa after years and years of struggling to end apartheid, he was imprisoned for 26 years away from his family. Can you imagine that? Hard labor, 26 years. And yet he went forth out of that to become an even greater leader. But he kept being a symbol of leadership and growth, even while incarcerated. Now, when his freedom came along, he had to make a decision to shed an old skin. He wrote, "As I walked out the door of that prison toward the gate that would lead to my freedom, I knew that if I didn't leave my bitterness and hatred behind, I'd still be in prison." So his outer freedom was being granted, but he wanted to also have that essential inner freedom and to let go, to shed that old baggage. I've just done a really wonderful, two times, a wonderful webinar called Bounce Back and Thrive. And it talks about 12 conditions of a miracle. And the very first condition of a miracle is emptying. We are so congested and filled with so much bitterness, upset, hate, judgment, call it whatever you will, fear. If we're going to have miracles in our life, we got to shed that, empty that, so that we are empty vessels to receive the light and the love of the divine. Are you willing to let go, to empty, to shed an old skin, and let your heart open to guide you into your greatness? Let go of why. Shed an old skin. Thirdly, open to healing love. I just mentioned opening the heart. This is one of the greatest things that we could ever do in our life, is to open our hearts. Now, the heart math folks who have researched the power of the heart have come out with the astounding declaration that the most intelligent organ in us is our hearts. Not our heads, but our hearts. And in fact, our hearts are precognitive. Our hearts know certain things are going to happen a full 20 seconds before our head understands, or before that as the thing actually happens. It's a phenomenal resource, but many times in our lives, we have closed our hearts. And thus we shut down the greatest thing we have. You see, your heart is the portal into the infinite potentiality and the love of God. You may have a bunch of wonderful spiritual ideas floating around upstairs here, but where you know God, experience God of a certainty, is in your heart. That's where the God experience happens. This is your portal into God. It says God is love, and they that dwell in love dwell in God, and God in them. So as we open our hearts, we gain access to a deeper, richer God experience, which is why it's so important to shed that old stuff. Because you can't have your old fears, judgments, bitternesses, whatever, and have a God experience. It's oil and water. So we let go, and then we open our hearts. It's an essential step to our evolution. A few experiences of my own to share with you. I was part of founding an organization in the late 90s called the Association for Global New Thought. I and a number of highly successful ministers who were all buddies, Howard Caesar, Houston Unity, Mary Morrissey, Michael Beckwith, Christian Sorensen, many others. We all got together and we formed this organization to take these New Thought principles out into the world. And many New Thought organizations were represented: Unity, Religious Science, Centers for Spiritual Living, and a lot of independent ministries. And we had this leadership council and we dreamt up great ideas and we fulfilled them. And one of them was to have a peace program that would proliferate. And we created what's called the Season for Nonviolence. Probably Reverend Steve Bolin introduced aspects of that during his wonderful tenure at UCOH. And so we brought Arun Gandhi, the grandson of Mohandas Gandhi, to Denver at the start of the first Season for Nonviolence in 1998. And he did some lectures at the church. We had him travel to other organizations in Denver. He did a lot of work with youth at our church and in schools. And it was a really beautiful experience, that first season. Now, the next year, and by the way, the Season for Nonviolence is the 64-day period between the death dates of Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr. And it's designed to teach the principles of nonviolent change as evidenced by Jesus and Martin Luther King Jr., Gandhi, Cesar Chavez, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, to repopularize these in our culture. And so in the second year of that 64-day celebration and educational time, we not only brought Arun Gandhi back to Mile High Church, but we brought a wonderful couple, Aisha and Kokaman Klate. Aisha and Kokaman Klate. an African American couple residing in the Bay Area. They had created and still have a center called the Attitudinal Healing Connection. And these two beautiful, beautiful beings have been doing racial healing circles for over 30 years. So at Mile High, we had them do a talk for the congregation. And then we had in the afternoon a racial healing circle, and we invited people to attend. And about 60 had the courage to be together in the diversities of ethnicity, to come together to learn. And I attended as well. And so after some initial instruction, Aisha and Kokoman Klate had us pair up with people who are of different racial backgrounds. And I paired up with a wonderful Black lady named Ruth. And Ruth and I spent about 2 hours in conversation together. And we are guided on certain subjects to talk about. But I had always known of the devastation of racism and the sad history of slavery in our country. I'd always known about that. But I had an opportunity to listen to Ruth, a beautiful woman of color, talk to me and share with me about the pain she felt. Share with me deeply and sensitively about certain experiences she had had and her family had had, and her fears during that time, and her fears that day to that day, and the deep sadness that she felt. This was so impactful to me. It's one thing to know about these things, but to listen and to be present to someone who opens their heart and vulnerably shares, this is how it felt. I was touched to my core. And in turn, she listened to me about my upbringing and got to understand a little more about how I was sheltered away from some of these realizations and my own progressive journey of unfoldment. It was deeply powerful. Neither of us accused one another of anything. Neither of us got into trying to defend ourselves or make anybody right or anybody wrong. We just listened to what was true for each of us. And it was so powerful. But here's the other thing. Over the course of that 2 hours, Ruth and I bonded at a very deep level. And we began a friendship that would last another 10 years before she sadly enough had to move away to be with relatives in another state. I think she's passed away by now. But every time we'd see each other after that, we've had something. Two souls came together to share their journey on this path and to not debate and make others wrong or put anybody down, but just to hear and to comprehend sensitively. It was a very powerful thing. It affected the rest of my life and my ministry. To this day, I love that lady. And all we simply did was come together and listen. How could that help in our world, do you think? Sometimes we live in the sterile confines of our judgments and our assumptions. Sometimes we need to listen and open our heart and comprehend the experience of another. I invite you to do that. Open to healing love. And you'll be grown. And then you can walk softly upon this planet and perhaps be that caring heart to others. And that spark of divinity will shine so brightly, the flame of truth through you. Teilhard de Chardin, he said, someday, after mastering the winds, the waves, the tides, and gravity, we shall harness for God the energies of love. And then for the second time in the history of the world, man will have discovered fire. Open to healing love. Yep, let go of why, shed an old skin, open to healing love, and finally, light up the moment. Light up the moment, wherever you are. You know, in the old days when they would dig a mine and the miners would go down into the dark mine shafts where no light penetrated. This was before they would string electrical lights down the shafts. The miners had only one source of light. It was that little light on their helmet. Now that little light lit up the the 3 square feet they were standing in and what they were working on, but they couldn't see down the path. They couldn't see anything but right where they were. But that light was enough to support them where they were at. And you may not have all the answers to all the challenges. I certainly don't, that I face or even you face or the world faces. But we've got a light. It's in our hearts, especially when we fan that spark into a flame. And we can light up wherever we are. We can light up the moment. We can do it by listening, not making wrong, not debating, listening, by caring, by acts of kindness, by working non-violently for change and connection, speaking out, standing strong in the face of bigotry. And moreover, we can light up the moment by dreaming anew and co-creating a better life and a better world. Remember, you are the light of the world. Do not hold yourself as inconsequential. You, by God's decree and spirit in you, are the light of this world. So rather than just praying for some light to come into the world, let's fan the spark into a flame and be that light. And stay dedicated. Don't get discouraged. Wherever you go, if you'll shine your light, the world is a bit brighter. And the more we all do that and invite others to, a significant light begins to emerge. Stay dedicated. Stay dedicated. Somebody has said, the mighty oak was once a little nut that held its ground. We're all kind of little nuts, but I love the acronym for nuts is never underestimating the spirit. Don't ever underestimate the spirit. Don't ever. The mighty oak was once a little nut that held its ground. So those are my gifts for you today. First of all, the great gift is the remembrance that there is a spark of divinity in you. And nothing you have ever experienced or ever will experience or are now experiencing can destroy that spark. But it waits for you to fan it into a flame that matters to yourself and to this world. So again, I invite you to let go of why that everything's going on. Let that go. Let go of what you need to let go of. Shed an old skin, a lesser consciousness, and then open to healing love so that you can go forth and light up the moment wherever you are. Oh, precious ones, I invite you to fan that powerful spark of spirit in you into a mighty flame of transforming truth, and let the God in you shine. God bless you. Let's have a quick prayer together. O infinite light divine, eternal love, infinite intelligence, this day we sense at the center of our being, deep in our hearts, the spark held in the sanctuary of light within us, the spark of your divine presence, your life divine. And so as we relax into this powerful moment, we let go of a sense of separation and fear. We let go of all that the little ego has fabricated. And we open our hearts, sensing the caress of your love, remembering in this moment we've always been held, maintained in love and life. And in this experience of unity, we accept together that no matter what is going on around us or in our own lives, your presence, your possibilities remain and are emerging. And we give thanks for this. We know that all possibilities and all good are already provided before we even ask. And so we claim our good. We claim that as we are fanning the spark of your love within us into a flame, we are warmed, we are healed at the level of mind, body, emotions, and circumstance. And we are empowered to step forward with confidence, with compassion, with love, with joy, with vision for a new and wonderful life. And we're so grateful for the limitless wellspring of divine good, always given, we receive. So we speak the word this day, knowing that Unity Church of the Hills is prospered, empowered, and moves forward dynamically into a rich, powerful future as a lighthouse of spirit. I speak the word knowing that every person who is viewing this day or by recording or is a part of this spiritual community, that our vibration and this frequency of consciousness uplifts us all. We are blessed and guided. We are spiritually empowered and prepared to move forward dynamically. And we are grateful for this, for we know it is not by our own efforts or forcing, but by your presence unleashed within us, your flame of truth lighting us, that we make a difference and we are blessed and a blessing. So I affirm all good for all of us this moment and always. And for this, we give deep and abiding thanks. Thank you, God. Thank you, Spirit. And we know all is well. We release this affirmative prayer now into its natural unfoldment in us, around us, through us, and for us. Thank you, God. And so we let it be, and so it always shall be. Amen. Again, this is Dr. Roger Teal. Thanks for being with us on this beautiful day. I look forward to being with you next Sunday. Have a wonderful day.
Wow. It is now time in our service where we get to give in support of our spiritual home and practice the law of circulation. There's ways to give. They're on your screen. There are a number of ways for you to give, and they are showing on your screen. Whether you are giving through our app, text to give, online, or by mail, we are grateful for your generosity and know that it will return to you tenfold. Let's all speak our affirmation together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I circulate, and I am grateful.
I woke up today with a smile on my face. Sounds like a song I wrote yesterday. I feel that way again. I'm feeling real, real good again. Like a good umbrella on a rainy day, or a road trip riding on a full tank. I feel real good again. I'm feeling real, real good again. And everything will be okay, 'cause all my blues are gone away. So I just gotta sing the happy song, singing all day long. When the sun is gone, I'm still happy to the brand new dawn. My song, singing all day long. And maybe I will see the rain, but happiness is here today. So won't you help me sing the happy song? I can see the sun and it's shining bright, so bright, I gotta say that twice. I can see the sun and it's shining bright. I can see the sun and it's shining bright. And everything will be okay, 'cause all my blues are gone away. So I just gotta sing the happy song, singing all day long. When the sun is gone, I'm still happy to the brand new dawn. My song, singing all day long. And maybe I will see the rain, but happiness is here today. So won't you help me sing the happy song? Now everybody clap your hands, and everybody do your dance. Though we can't see your head, joy comes in the morning. So clap your hands and do your dance. And sometimes we mourn, but I found joy in a happy song. This is my happy song, singing all day long. When the sun is gone, I'm still happy to the brand new dawn. My song, singing all day long. And maybe I will see the rain, but happiness is here today. So won't you help me sing the happy song? The La da 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 da. La da 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 da.
Thank you so much, Lex. Thank you, Dr. Teal, for your wonderful message. Just to let you guys know, there is no going deeper today. However, you are invited to join us at 1 p.m. for our gratitude circle led by our praying chaplains. Let's go ahead and close today with our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. And wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you so much and have a beautiful Sunday. Love you guys.